Hello, leader. Welcome back to the Fierce Factor podcast. You're tuning into episode number 205. And I am so excited today to talk to you about something really special that Team KLC has been working on for several months now. It's something that we are finally getting ready to bring out to the world, to you in May. And that is our alt experience. This is the experience that is unlike any other, I shall say. And I like to think that every great idea, you guys probably have heard me talk about the gap, right? Finding a gap for your business or a gap in the marketplace to serve people who are being underserved. And I believe that the gap here, this sort of stimulus for this special experience that we're creating was really birthed from a pain point for which there was no existing solution. And so I want to talk to you about why I have how envisioned alt, where this sort of concept came about, what I feel like is really missing in our marketplace in aesthetics and wellness, and truly for female entrepreneurs from my standpoint, and what we are looking to solve, what we need instead in this industry, and how alt is the idea that really the solution to solving those pain points that we have. So I really want to talk about what I feel like has been missing. Ultimately, there's a core gap for me for entrepreneurs that's just not being addressed by your average business mastermind or conference. And I feel like the reason that we continue to show up and seek out more learning, more information, more skills, better knowledge is this innate desire to be better, to grow, to optimize, to be the best that we can be. And I think a lot of the women that we work with, I notice, have these sort of these voids or insecurities around their own business acumen, right? I started my business because I loved taking care of patients, or I loved injecting, or I loved one aspect of just the relationship that I got to build, or my skill, my passion, and got to a point where all of a sudden I had to be a business owner and I didn't know how to do that job as well as my other job, right? And I mean, ultimately, that's why we have such a powerful business here at KLC, is that that's where we focus on helping women who are really great at their skill learn how to be just as great at running their business. And I have to say, as somebody who has a 4-year business degree, and has spent plenty of time with my head in business books over the past 20 years, 20, whatever, something, 18 years since I graduated from college. I really believe that the fundamental knowledge that I have about business growth has come from actually building a business itself. And I truly want to help other female entrepreneurs believe in themselves in that way and understand that it's all part of the process. I tell my clients a lot that sometimes I think we're too committed to finding answers and seeking more knowledge, and not committed enough to surrounding ourselves with people that remind us that we have the answers already. We just have to insource them and take messy action. And we don't learn that at conferences, right? Let's be real. And I think that's one of the main places that women in our industry go. They go to seek out wherever they can, that, like, let me get the most accurate, up to date, and relevant knowledge around how to run my business from the places that other people like me are there, right? And other companies who are serving me are existing. And so I think in that sense, that's a wonderful thing. But I have found myself being a part of different mastermind groups and conferences, both as an exhibitor, as an attendee, as a speaker, all the different sides. There are some core gaps, and I think that there's room for something more. particularly for female entrepreneurs that are at that next level, that are looking to really scale up and build companies, that are wanting to have conversations that are a little bit higher level than just the basics. And what I have found in the work that we do at KLC is that the most meaningful conversations are actually not happening in public. They're happening behind closed doors. And I get to have that insight, being a coach and a confidant and advisor to women on a daily basis. And I think because of this, it actually does slow down progress. And I don't mean business growth progress necessarily. I mean emotional progress. I mean the ability to have complete joy and fulfillment in the work that we do, because instead of having open-ended conversations where people are out there talking about their struggles, very smart and capable female founders feel very lonely. And if you hear me saying the word lonely and you don't know what I'm talking about, you you haven't pushed yourself to that level yet. And it will come, it will happen. And I think when we think about the places that we go to seek camaraderie and seek support, we're not really getting to hear the most compelling and the most authentic stories from other people. And when we talk about conferences and speakers on stage, most of the experts in our industry are sharing their success stories, but true growth is experienced through overcoming failures. And therefore, we're measuring our journey in entrepreneurship to the top of someone's peak, right? Where someone's already sort of climbed that hill and they're up there. And the truth is, they only got there because they were in the trenches. They faced tremendous adversity and had to overcome challenges and obstacles that you may be going through. That's where the growth happens. And so this conversation narrative has to change. And most of it is truly driven by our industry. It's driven by what our industry wants the audience to hear. And that's the truth. That's where the money is, right? And true thought leaders are living among us, and their thought leadership can only be demonstrated through their lived experiences. So how do we create an environment where people are not just like vomiting out everything that's going on in their life and business, but thoughtfully helping each other grow in a way that isn't necessarily showcasing every best practice or everything that they've done that they can attribute to their success now that they've achieved it, but how do we get them to reflect back and look at how their story and their journey it has impacted where they are now. I get to do this a lot on this podcast. And I think that is the conversation that needs to be had. When you attend a typical conference, you're spending thousands of dollars and still having to sift through sales pitches and, quite frankly, popularity contests. And I'm not saying they're all like that, but that happens a lot. And what I have found through many conversations with high growth women that we work with is that they attend one conference and then they're like very few they want to go back to again and again and again. And I think that's because there isn't as much juice to squeeze out of the lemon, because those conversations tend to be either agenda driven, political driven, pretense, driven. There's something there that is not allowing the conversation to go as deep as it should go. So therefore, we have put together what I believe to be something transformative for our industry. And that is a conference / mastermind / event / live experience, quite frankly, that stimulates authentic conversation in which the speakers and educators who come are empowered to share the most real part of their journey. It's an experience where leaders are learning from each other, not just from the speakers on stage, where we are collectively sharing our lived experiences and asking questions that are really going to drive innovation and stimulate provocative thinking and provocative conversations that aren't being had because they're agendaless. And I believe that this will foster a longer, deeper, and more meaningful cultivation of ideas. and that this is a movement that will inspire unconventional thinking and ideating. And I think that this is the place that will breed true growth for our industry and beyond. I really see this as being something that will soar beyond just aesthetics and wellness, and not that it's a just, but I know I have many female entrepreneur friends who deal with the same challenges. And it's very rare that the true thought leaders of our space are being able to, or have a platform or a presence to be able to share their conversations. And I think a lot of times it's, sometimes even hesitation to get on stage, and so what if you didn't have to get on stage? You could come and listen, and you could share at a table with other people, or in a workshop environment, or a place where, hey, how are you doing this, right? Some downtime conversation. So I see this alt as true thought leadership advisory flipped on its head, right? So this experience will take place where there is zero corporate sponsorship. It's going to be directly funded by a collective of inspiring and relatable thought leaders. So when you buy a ticket to this event, there is no hidden agenda. It's truly to come and be agendaless, to have those conversations that you're having at home, maybe with your partner, or you're crying to your business partner or your friend. You're feeling like, how am I ever going to overcome this? And then you suddenly sit in a room with someone and hear them talk about, well, actually, I went through something very similar, right? The biggest fears that maybe you have around your best employee leaving. That's happened. Here's how I overcame it. Fears about your health impacting your ability to continue growing your business. That's happened. Fears about how to continue to increase your business valuation in this very, let's say, unstable in ways, PE, equity, fast growth, high pace, roll up environment where, you're getting your door knocked on every other day. Can I buy your business? How do you know what your business is worth? How do you know who to go to? How do you know how to prepare your business to set it up to scale in a way that can optimize the value of your business? Questions like that. And so this event will have no alternative agenda, just real lived experiences that is focusing on both successes, but more importantly, the failures that catapulted those successes. So we'll be hosting speaker interviews, panel discussions, workshops, mastermind sessions that will allow for applied learning, but also a transformative experience where you can become inspired to really level up in your business and your life. My goal is for you to leave feeling empowered and supported, and to bring your alternative approach, this sort of this strong internal intrinsic confidence, it back into your business when you get home, not feeling like you just learned 20,000 things that you now have to find time to apply, right? I feel like I leave a conference and I'm like, oh, I'm missing all these things. Maybe there's a few things where I'm like, I'm doing that right, or glad, that I'm on the right track, but I don't really feel that burning desire to go and just jump through, the wall. Like, I want to go and attack. And I want everyone to feel like that, just so inspired and ready to go take action. You won't see an exhibit hall here. You won't see any sponsored bus wraps or, top 10 lists. There's no fluff. There's no conflicting clinical and business talks. You don't have to worry about missing out on the most amazing cadaver course to come to a business track talk, or have to separate your manager. Truly, this is all about growing you as a leader. And so I encourage you to don't just come to learn, but really come to be transformed. Some of the conversations we'll be having are talking about the era of private equity, strategies for increasing your business valuation to stay in the driver's seat, elite communication tools to dial up your visibility and influence, and your ability to influence your team and build a really amazing culture. The reverse engineering of a multi-million-dollar e-com retail strategy. We're going to be bringing in an injector and formulator who has built a multi-million dollar just e-com strategy with retail products, and has her injecting business as well, and how she balances that, and how she completely burned down her entire business and rebuilt it from the ground up. I'm super excited about that. We're going to be hosting a mission, vision, values workshop, anchoring your ecosystem to the bigger why. This is where you're really looking at what your mission, vision, values are. Where are we headed today, right? Maybe we started the business 3 years ago, but you know what happens in 3 to 5 years? It's time for a redo. It's like hitting the reset button. We're back on the bottom of that curve, right? Heading back up again. How do we get through this, and how do we scale up from this place? Reorienting around the bigger why and getting our team dialed into that. We're going to talk about the competition conundrum. Like, who is your biggest competitor? Is it actually the med spa down the street, or the provider that is copying all your stuff, right? Is it your team members who you are training and mentoring and developing and investing in that could leave and start their own business? Who's your biggest competition? We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about transitioning from provider to CEO, that inflection point where you really want to step out and become more of the visionary leader of your organization. How do you empower your clients to trust your team members? We're going to host a systems workshop to help you learn how to build a business that your grandma could come and run. How do we get SOPs in place? What kind of systems do we need to have? What should our hiring process be like? What should our client journey be like? What is the actual operational efficiency that we need to have to be able to run our business in a way that can scale and could scale me back? We're going to talk about working with your partner, how to build your dream as a team. Many of our clients that have achieved that 5 million and up level, and others have their husbands working with them, their partners, as a team. How do you navigate those complexities? We're going to talk about overcoming adversity and rebounding when things don't work out. We're also going to have conversations around team building, when's the right time to hire, all of these kinds of things that really relate to the nuances that we're thinking about and that are keeping us up at night as female founders. I know for me, it always comes back to, am I doing the right thing? Am I making the right decisions around the people, how I'm leading them, what they're doing on a day-to-day basis? And is everybody in line with the bigger vision? And so how do we do that and prepare everybody into this ecosystem where they feel empowered and supported and passionate about ultimately building a self-led company? We need to invest in the team that's going to build that business for us. And I'm going to talk a lot about identity shifts and becoming the woman who's capable of leading an organization at that level. So that's a little bit of some insight around the agenda, what we have planned for Alt. Moreover, we are committed to ensuring inclusivity, particularly for women who too often find themselves sidelined in discussions at a higher level, right? Once you get to a point where you're building your multi-million-dollar empire, how do you show up to the negotiation table feeling empowered? How do you know you're doing the right thing every single day? And this Alt is this platform where everyone's voice is heard and valued, and where attendees are going to leave feeling empowered and supported to implement really alternative approaches into their own endeavors. There is no right way to build a business. There's not. And so for all of us who are out there seeking the right percentage of X and Y and averages and all of those things, it doesn't exist. It's completely against my philosophy, and it's against what I have seen women who've built successful companies that they love, that are in alignment with the life that they want to build. They're not living by someone else's agenda. And so I highly encourage you to make this the #1 conference that you attend this year. It's coming up on May 17th and 18th. And I am extending this enthusiastic, invitation for you to join us at this inaugural live event in Newport Beach, California, called the Alt Experience. This is a transformative in-person live event that is aimed at redefining the landscape of female entrepreneurship in aesthetics and wellness. And if you're not in aesthetics and wellness, there's a lot for you to gain from this as well. You can purchase your ticket at klcconsultants.com/alt. I will be limiting the event to 50 attendees. We did this so we can have a very high touch, intimate experience with you, with the right kind of vibe and energy. We'll be working all day on Saturday, half day workshops on Sunday, and then we're going to have open time for networking, going to the pool, shopping. If you've been to Lido Island, you know how freaking awesome this place is. Our hotel is right on the island where you have very close proximity to some of the best shopping in Orange County. There's yachts, amazing restaurants, dining, pool, all of the things, hikes, whatever you like to do. So get your ticket while it's available. Bring a colleague. This is not your average conference. This is not your average anything, obviously. And we have literally no formalized, I should say, agenda, in the sense that this isn't an agenda-driven conference. This is something that we are taking a huge risk as a company to put on because we believe that this is what the industry needs. And so every dollar that you spend to attend this is going to be worth exponential value to your business ongoing in the future, not to mention the relationships that you'll be building and the fun that you'll be having. So I cannot be more excited about this event. Again, head to klcconsultants.com/alt. There'll be more info coming out over the course of the next several weeks, in terms of, we'll be revealing some of our speakers and panelists. We'll be revealing more around the topics that I discussed today, be doing a little bit more marketing around that. If you have questions, you can DM me on Instagram, you can email us, ask away. We are here to answer your questions, and we can't wait to see you on May 17th and 18th. Let's go.